Hey, Ticats fans, your Digital Host Louie B. I'll be here with you throughout the night on our Ticats virtual draft watch party. Just a little explanation on how this night's going to go for us here on Facebook. This is just part of the conversation. Come here after, discuss the picks with your fellow Ticats fans, and we're going to have insights and analysis. We're going to have exclusive interviews as well. One of those exclusive interviews is my friend. You see him every night on CHCH. It's Bubba O'Neill. Bubba, it is so great to see you. How have you been, my friend?
We've all been just trying to get through the pandemic and do whatever we can to provide as much sports as we can, as much sports chatter as, it's a different world out there right now. Hopefully, these nights like these really make me excited. You saw it in the NFL draft just a week ago where there's that anticipation, something we're not getting by watching, classic sports where we know how everything ends. So something like the draft, there's mystery, there's intrigue. Who's going to trade up? Who's going to trade down? Who are the Ticats going to get in this first round with 2 picks? A lot of interest.
And, to have 2 picks in the first round is great. To have 2 picks in the first round coming off a Grey Cup and coming off a free agency period in which, you get one of the biggest names to stay, and that's Dylan Wynn. And then you get some big names like Ted Laurent, some depth moves like Courtney Stevens, DeVere Posey. There aren't a lot of holes on this Ticats team that need to be filled on this draft, which kind of gives Sean Burke and Drew Alamang some I don't want to say free range, but some creativity to say the least.
Well, the way I look at it, the first 3 rounds, certainly, there's always talent, right? It's only, 73 picks of these Canadian kids are going to get picked. But I think that first 3 rounds, those first, 20 or so kids, there's some real high-end talent, from the NCAA and, of course, U Sports. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see where do you pick for that immediate need, or do you go for someone where you figure, he's just the best athlete, right? And that's where I think the fun is. I think for me personally, I got mine. I can't help it. I keep going right back to it. So no matter who I talk to around the nation, Nathan Rourke, a Canadian quarterback, can run, can pass, 6'2", 209. I know size isn't because we were so focused on that 6'4", 200-pound quarterback. But this guy's got skills, and he can run around and scramble. I feel like he can do many things at the CFL game. It may fit his eye really well, and he's going to be really motivated as well, too, from probably not being drafted in the NFL, when some people thought he'd be a low-end pick. So I feel like there's a lot of intrigue in this draft. And you're right, Louie B. When you win a franchise-high 15 games, what do you got to fill, right? But these guys are as smart as a whip in terms of the Ticats front office, and I'm sure there's probably some depth positions where they already know and have identified where they want to fill.
We were talking about this with Meltzy earlier. Drew Alamang, in terms of his ability to see Canadian depth, Canadian talent, the whole front office team around him, of course. But, between him and Sean Burke, they've really earned their reputation in this league as 2 of the younger guys when it comes to the management circles.
Well, it's interesting. I do those last year I got to do the play-by-play for a lot of the McMaster Marauders and their Yates Cup run in the OUA. And, there were several times, no matter where I was, if I was in London or Windsor or Guelph, and you look over a couple of booths and there's Drew right there taking notes. So I feel like these guys have a real good hand on what talent is out there. And I'll tell you something, just again, by doing these games, whether it was from a play-by-play aspect or a color commentator aspect, boy, these kids are good at this level, at the U Sports level. The abilities, the fitness level, the strength, the pro level readiness of these kids compared to just 5 years ago, Louie.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, these kids are really, really impressive. And you know what, the McMaster Marauders, maybe a guy like Noah Hallett, he could get drafted in the first or second round. It's going to be a lot of fun. But I'll tell you, these Ticats certainly know they're Canadian talent. And I know there's great kids in the NCAA that are Canadian as well, too. But right here at home, I'll go specific, right in the OUA, there's some studs.
The one thing I've been talking to Coach O about and the management who I've talked to, And the one thing I've learned about Coach is he loves competition. He loves that battle in camp. We're going to see it at the top of the position at quarterback. But we're going to see it up and down this lineup. There might be some guys on this Ticats team who are fighting for a spot, who may think right now that they have the spot locked up.
You said quarterback, and you know what? At CHCH, we had a chat. I was able to have a chat with Jeremiah Masoli, and he pretty much said it's on, right? Like, we're friends. We want the same things. We want to support each other. We want to win. We want a Grey Cup. We want to go one level higher than they did last year. And what was a marvelous year and so much fun for us to watch and to broadcast and talk about. But in terms of competition, who wants to be that guy? Who wants to be quarterback number one? And that's going to be throughout the entire board, right? No one, and Coach O, as you know, just because you were the starter last year at a particular position doesn't mean that spot's guaranteed. So if and when we do get going into training camp, as Jeremiah said, it's on.
Yeah, well said, Bubba. What impressed you most about last year's group, outside of the record? What was it about last year's team that led to having such a successful record on the field?
Two things that really impressed me: their depth overall. I mean, they lost guys on the defensive line at times, guys in the secondary. You lose your guy, your reigning East Division MOP. And Dane Evans, I'm sorry, you probably saw more of him than I did in preseason. I didn't expect to see what we saw. And I know there were times maybe in his first 3 or 4 starts where like, he grew into that position and just really wowed many people around the league. And, you know, people I talk to across the country where they're like, tell me about this kid. And I'm like, well, I'm amazed as you are, right? But when I look at this team, I look at the depth that they have, but I think the thing that really stands out to me, and winning probably had a lot to do with it. I've never seen a team get along so well. Whether it be the first stringers, the second stringers, the special teamers, the defensive guys, the offensive guys, during practice, very competitive against each other. But as a relationship and a team, I'll tell you, those couple of days being out in Calgary, watching these guys practice with their hip-hop music going on and all of them dancing around. Now, some people were asking me, is this the way it always is with these guys? And it was. They were loosey-goosey. They knew when to turn it on and turn it off. Did they win the Grey Cup? I don't think it had anything to do with their loosey-goosiness, but their relationship that they share together is really impressive. I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. And I've been covering this team here and there for 15 years. Yeah,
you don't want to play revisionist history, but you know, Brandon Banks going down in the Grey Cup, obviously a turning point in that Canada Ticats season. Bubba, we will see you tonight on CHCH. Really appreciate you doing this, man. Great to see your face, smiling face. Thank you so much.